unity of the whole humanity. Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In the last class, I just started the topic, Realize Thyself. And I said many teachings of Sri Ramakrishna taken from the Gospel, where Sri Ramakrishna has said, if you know the reality, then you will be in perpetual joy. So discovering your true self, that is the method of Vedanta. Vedanta means knowledge of the Supreme Self. The knowledge of reality, knowing which you know everything. Once you realize that highest truth, then you will be having no more suffering. You are free forever. You realize your true nature. Your true nature is you are immortal. Amritasya putraha, immortal children. There is no death for the individual being. There is no death as such. Death is only to the container, the body. It lives for some time and then dies. What of that? You are wearing a jacket. After some time, it becomes old, worn out. Then you throw it away, take another jacket. It's just like that. So, we have to realize that through spiritual practices. Vedanta declares that the reality is beyond the reach of the senses and the mind. But it can be perceived by persons of concentrated intellect and subtle perception. In its impersonal aspect, that reality is called Brahman or Atman. In its personal aspect, it is known as God with various names. Regarding the one substance, having two such aspects, Sri Ramakrishna says, that the impersonal aspect is like a shoreless infinite ocean under the cooling influence of the love and devotion of a devotee. The personal aspect is manifested like water cooling to form a block of ice. And again, when the sun of knowledge rises, the form melts into the formless. Any discussion about reality and the means to attain it generally gives us the impression that these are matters outside ourselves. Since the fact is not so, and the investigation has to be carried on within oneself, we may first go through one of the well-known Vedantic analytic methods of arriving at the reality of man. That would help us to unravel the mystery to some extent and see the various methods of sadhana in their proper perspective. Everyone is practicing religion, but he should know what is the goal of the religion. Is it to enjoy this world much more? Is it to satisfy our desires? Is it simply to get into some kind of heaven and enjoy? No. Whenever you are propelled by desires, you are bound to suffer. And you can't overcome suffering as long as you are in bondage. You get the glimpse of joy when you attain freedom. You must be liberated from all shackles, from all entanglements, from all involvements, from all encumbrances. You must be totally free. Then only you enjoy the bliss of supreme reality. Ordinarily, a man experiences three states of being: waking, dream, and deep sleep. Everyone will pass through these three states. Every night, either he will be in the waking state or dream state or deep sleep state. In the waking state, what does he do? He lives at the physical and mental levels. He functions. In the dream state, he lives at the mental level, not physical level. And in deep sleep, he is not aware of anything. In the first two states, waking and dream, the person is aware of an I as the doer or experiencer or both. In the third state, that is in the deep sleep state, he says he did not do or experience anything. He is not aware of anything. Yet when he wakes up, he says, I slept very soundly. I had a very sound sleep and did not know anything. After waking from the deep sleep state, he finds remarkably refreshed. So, even in that state of nescience, there was an I remaining as a witness. You said, I had a very sound sleep. So this I is the abiding awareness or consciousness in man, and he is the one unchanging link in all these three states of being. While I of the waking state and the I of the dream are confined to those respective states. Pure awareness or pure consciousness, which is the witness of all the three states, is the sole unchanging link in all the states and hence real, while the other apparent personalities of man are unreal. The latter depend upon the former, while the former can exist independently even if the other states cease to exist. Hence, that alone is real. It's called the Turiya state, the transcendent supreme state, while the other three states are merely superimpositions on it, depending on it for their existence, just as the scenes in a movie film are mere superimpositions of pictures on the pure illumined screen. So, Vedanta concludes that the reality in man is pure consciousness, pure awareness. It's called Atman. Ego, mind, senses and body are superimpositions on it, deriving their life and activity from it and effectively hiding it. They appear to be alive, sentient and active because of the support and sustentation received from the Atman. They can't exist without the Atman. See, when the soul leaves the body, even though the body looks healthy, even though all the senses are in good shape, for some reason if the soul leaves the body drops dead. So body is activating, it is functioning because of the Atman dwelling in the body. The body is a container. So, they can't exist without the Atman, but Atman can exist without them. Man wrongly identifies himself with his body, with his mind, and that is the source of all his ills. This is the basic ignorance in man. So the task in spiritual life is to regain the awareness that I am Atman and remain under all circumstances at that level of awareness as a witness of all that goes on in the body and mind, but untouched by them. Some conclusions as above are arrived at by other Vedantic methods of analysis, such as Drik Drishya Viveka. There's a famous textbook on Vedanta. It means distinction between the seer and the seen. Then there is another Panchakosha Viveka, that is analysis by the 5 sheets of man. The Atman dwells in the innermost sheet. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. At the last, Ananda, soul is, Atman is shining there. So essentially we find that pure consciousness is the reality in man, and to arrive at it we have to penetrate through the various coverings such as the body, senses and mind. As long as these are there, these are in a way obstruction for the realization of the reality. But you must know how to make a breakthrough. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya paramaha manasastu parabuddhihi yo buddhehe paratastu saha. The meaning is, the senses are superior to sense objects. The mind is superior to the senses. The intellect is superior to the mind. And he, the Atman, is superior to the intellect. A more elaborate description is found in one of the Upanishads, Kathopanishad, where the Purush, that is the Atman, beyond the senses, mind, intellect, it's called Mahan Atman, and Avyakta, unmanifested, is declared as final end and supreme goal. The methods of reaching back into the reality is described in the same Upanishad, and how one should, by thorough analysis and discriminating what is real and what is unreal, one should move onward in quest of the Atman. The process, in simple terms, amounts to transcending the senses, the mind and the ego, and arriving at the level of pure consciousness, the basic substratum of the edifice of man. The Vedanta declares, and the mystics of all religions of all times corroborate by their experience, that the reality in man is one with the reality behind the universe, and that there is only one non-dual Brahman, which is pure consciousness and pure existence, which is infinite, which is all-pervading. To give one example, there is one source of light. Suppose you bring 10 candles and light them. From that source of light, you light 10 candles. The same light is appearing as 10. Suppose you bring 40 candles, light them up, the same light appearing as 40. But is it different? No. It is the same light shining in all the candles. If one candle is put off, that light goes back to its source. So, again if you bring another set of candles and light them up, again the light will come. That means there is no death for that. If it is dead, you would not have got the light at all anymore. In the same way, the consciousness in everyone is the same. We are acting and behaving in a different way on account of the container. The consciousness in the body of tiger behaves in one way. In the body of fox, jackal behaves in another way. in the body of a snake behaves in another way, but the same consciousness. So, the consciousness dwelling, it is manifesting through all these mediums. It's only man who can discriminate and analyze things and come to the conclusion what is real, what is unchanging, that should be taken, what is changing should be rejected. So that's the goal of all religions, to realize that Supreme Paramatma. There are 4 recognized methods, yogas, for reaching the goal. One is Jnana Yoga, another is Raja Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. They are not mutually exclusive paths, and as one would find in practice, the particular name of a path only indicates the dominant line of its approach. Srimad Bhagavat, one of the great scriptures of Hindu culture, has mentioned 3 yogas, namely Jnana, Bhakti, Karma, knowledge, devotion, and action. The first for those who have attained dispassion and renunciation. They alone can pursue the path of knowledge. You must have sufficient dispassion. If you have tremendous desire to enjoy the world, you can't really follow the path of jnana. And you must have sufficient dispassion. You must not aspire for anything else other than God, other than your own self. And the karma is for those attached to the world, that is, to a life centered on the senses, and those who feel they have got duties, they have got obligations to perform. So when they are identifying themselves with these things around them, surrounding them, Karma Yoga is prescribed. That is, to a life centered on the senses. And Bhakti is for those who are neither fully dispassionate nor fully attached to the world. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna declares in the Gita that the 2 ancient yogas of Jnana and Karma were advocated by the Lord Himself. The fact that all the 4 yogas lead to the same end has been long recognized. The 4 yoga is not only lead to the same goal, but also are based on the one scheme of realization, namely transcending the senses, mind and the ego. The Jnana Yoga approach consists of hearing of and meditating on the reality as set out in the scriptures. The truth of the self should be heard from a competent teacher. Various doubts arising from the contemplation thereof should be cleared with the help of study and discussion with teachers. And when one is convinced of the matter, one should intensely meditate upon it and live up to it. Living a practical spiritual life is important in order to realize the truth. So truth is presented in the form of declaration, such as in the Upanishads it is stated, I am Brahman. Thou art that. Brahman is pure consciousness. This Atman is Brahman, etc. The indwelling pure consciousness in me is same as the pure consciousness all pervading. Since I don't know that, I am suffering because of ignorance. In order to realize it, we must practice spiritual sadhanas. Control of the senses, control of the mind, cultivating dispassion and renunciation, and directing the mental and intellectual faculties to the contemplation of and meditation on the Supreme Truth. All these are essential in this path of knowledge, yoga of knowledge. Negating all sensual and mental objects and experiences as this is not Brahman, not this, is an integral part of the discipline of this yoga. In this process, the seeker transcends the bodily and mental levels of consciousness and arrives at the very core of his own being, namely pure consciousness. The seer is always traced and distinct from the seen, and one arrives at the one non-dual reality at the end. The constant inquiry, who am I? Or whence do my thoughts arise? These were advocated by one of the saints of India, Sri Ramana Maharshi. It is another name for the same technique. So, what is needed is you have to focus your attention on the reality. That means you have to direct all your senses and the mind towards that. What is happening? All these senses and the mind are, instead of directing towards the Atman, they are directed outward. So they are running outwardly and bringing all sorts of reactions on the way. So, religion is drawing yourself inward. How far you will be able to go inward within yourself? You must go beyond the barriers of the senses, mind and intellect. It's a long process of concentration. First of all, you have to sit yourself and watch your mind, how the mind runs after this and that. And you have to give suggestion to the mind that this particular time I am trying to focus my attention on the Atman. I don't want to divert myself to any other way. So you have to give this auto-suggestion to the mind. In fact, what is it that you want to focus it on Atman? It is part of your own mind. That means the spiritual mind is always there. So you have to strengthen that spiritual mind. You have to make it more vibrant and more strong. When it becomes strong and vibrant, then the non-spiritual mind becomes weakened, and then it will not be able to cause any more trouble. So you have to strengthen your spiritual mind. That is a very important step that you should have to take if you are contemplating on practicing spirituality. You have to take control of yourself. Then only spirituality begins. Without controlling yourself, no spirituality. So, in order to control yourself, you have to strictly follow, strictly impose on yourself discipline. That means you don't want to waste time unnecessarily in useless things. You don't want to distract the mind. You don't want to engage in activities which unnecessarily cause disturbance. You have to take all steps required. And you have to try very sincerely to see that your mind is focused on the Atman. As I said in the earlier, if you are aspiring for personal aspect of Brahman, it is called God. You can take any name, any form of God that is divine, supreme, and you can hold on to that. Actually, it inspires your spiritual life if you hold on to personal aspect of God. Whomsoever God you are worshipping, hold on to that God and keep practicing steadfast. You will attain the goal. So, unless you realize your true self, you are in bondage. As long as you are in bondage, you cannot avoid suffering. So, you are suffering because you are in bondage. You are in bondage, therefore you are suffering. So they go together. If you are free, then you are joyful, you are peaceful. So, the idea of joy, the real joy, comes by meditating on the Atman, who is beyond this body, beyond this mind, beyond everything. And you must concentrate on that Atman, which the Upanishads declare as it is present in everyone's heart, like a flame. So the yogis will see that flame at the heart center. And when they see it, they become ecstatic. And sometimes they get into samadhi. Samadhi means total absorption. They just be there, enjoying the bliss. Afterwards, they want to share that bliss with everyone, so they come and help the humanity. That's how the prophets come, with a mission. Out of infinite love to the humanity, they come and share their joy with all the people. So, let us try to understand this truth and start practicing sincerely. Then you will get into that. I will continue the same subject. Next Tuesday also I will continue the same subject. Page 670. If a householder is a genuine devotee, he performs his duties without attachment, he surrenders the fruit of his work to God, his gain or loss, his pleasure or pain, and day and night he prays for devotion and for nothing else. This is called motiveless work. a performance of duty without attachment. A monk too must do all his work in that spirit of detachment, but he has no worldly duties to attend to, like a householder. If a householder gives in charity in a spirit of detachment, he is really doing good to himself and not to others. It is God alone that he serves, God who dwells in all beings. And when he serves God, he is really doing good to himself and not to others. If a man thus serves God through all beings, not through men alone, but through animals and other living beings as well, if he doesn't seek name and fame or heaven after death, if he doesn't seek any return from those he serves, if he can carry on his work of service in this spirit, then he performs truly selfless work, work without attachment. Through such selfless work, he does good to himself. This is called Karma Yoga. This too is a way to realize God, but it is very difficult and not suited to the Kali Yuga. It is modern age. Therefore I say, Sri Ramakrishna said, he who works in such a detached spirit, who is kind and charitable, benefits only himself, helping others, doing good to others. This is the work of God alone, who for men has created the sun and moon, father and mother, fruits, flowers and corn. The love that you see in parents is God's love. He has given it to them to preserve His creation. The compassion that you see in the kind-hearted is God's compassion. He has given it to them to protect the helpless. Whether you are charitable or not, He will have His work done somehow or other. Nothing can stop His work. What then is man's duty? What then is man's duty? What else can it be? It is just to take refuge in God and to pray to Him with a yearning heart for His vision. Shambhu said to me, Sri Ramakrishna said, Shambhu said, it is my desire to build a large number of hospitals and dispensaries. Thus I can do much good to the poor. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, yes, that's not bad if you can do it in a detached spirit. But to be detached is very difficult unless you sincerely love God. And further, if you entangle yourself in many activities, you will be attached to them in a way unknown to yourself. You may think you have no motive behind your work, but perhaps there has already grown a desire for fame and the advertising of your name. Then again, if you are entangled in too many activities, the pressure of them will make you forget God. I also said to him, Shambhu, let me ask you one thing. If God appears before you, will you want Him or a number of hospitals and dispensaries? If one realizes God, one doesn't enjoy anything else. One who has tasted syrup of sugar candy cannot enjoy a drink made from common treacle. Those who build hospitals and dispensaries and get pleasure from that are no doubt good people, but they are of a different type. He who is a real devotee of God seeks nothing but God. If he finds himself entangled in too much work, he earnestly prays, O Lord, be gracious and reduce my work. My mind, which should think of Thee day and night, has been wasting its power in thinking of worldly things alone. Pure-souled devotees are in a class by themselves. You can't have real love of God unless you know that God alone is real and all else illusory. You cannot have real love of God unless you know that the world is impermanent, only of 2 days existence, while its creator alone is real and eternal. Janaka and sages like him worked in the world at the command of God. To Bankim, Sri Ramakrishna said, some people think that God cannot be realized without the study of books and scriptures. They think that first of all one should learn of this world and its creatures, that first of all one should study science. All laugh. They think that one cannot realize God without first understanding His creation. Which comes first, science or God? What do you say? Bankim said, I too think that we should first of all know about the different things of the world. How can we know God? How can we know of God without knowing something of this world? We should first learn from books. Sri Ramakrishna answered, that is the one cry from all of you. But God comes first and then the creation. After attaining God, you can know everything else if it is necessary. We shall stop. Good. Any question to ask or any discussion you want to have? You are welcome. The point is this: unless you know who you are, you cannot get real peace of mind. Realizing God, realizing personal aspect of God means you know you and the personal God are one and the same. You feel you are the part and parcel of God. And you love to serve Him, and you will see that your God whom you are worshipping is present in the whole creation. You develop that concept. You feel you belong to the whole world. And you also feel the whole world belongs to you. When you have that feeling, naturally it follows you love the whole creation. So love is the indication of how far you have come towards the truth. The nearer the truth you are, the more you'll be able to manifest love towards the beings, towards the whole creation, not only human beings, towards animals, towards everything, animate, inanimate. Everything is adorable. Nothing to be rejected as such. Everything is God's. So everything must be treated with respect. You should show great reverence to every being. Nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu. You must have no enmity towards anybody, any being. So you must develop that concept, must cultivate that. Then you become really spiritual. If you realize the truth, if you become a saint, the whole world loves you and you love the whole world. That's the beauty of real saint. Yeah? Any question? Yeah. Disagreeing about what? Judgment. It's true. Everyone has got his own mind and each one acts according to his mind. So you must have that approach. Well, if you have that opinion, have it yourself. But you should not get upset over that, because his mind is in that state. What can you do? So the best way is to sympathize or to keep quiet. You have your own idea, let that person have his own or her own. You can discuss up to a point where it is possible. And you must know that everyone is not at the same level, either mental level or intellectual level. Everyone is different, really, I tell you. So, if you know that, then you won't feel upset. All right. He needs some more experience to understand things. That's all. Is it not? Suppose, say a person was telling, oh Swamiji, I want to join the Ramakrishna mission. I want to join. Can you tell me I can realize God if I join? So I told, you can't expect God realization that way. It depends upon how many samskaras you have to fight yourself with. If your mind is matured enough, if the desires are not bothering you, if you are not hankering after the pleasures of the world, then probably by regular practices you will be able to realize God. But without that, simply by joining the Ramakrishna mission, you can't expect you will realize God immediately. Just like doing instant coffee, you can't get instant realization. It's not possible that way. No, I want that, I am very much after that, etc., etc. He was talking. And then he graduated himself. It is desire that is controlling you. It is ruling you. It wants. So you go. Suppose I said don't. Then you become restless. But he wants some sanction. I should approve of what he says. Then I told, no. In this matter I will not interfere because it's your personal matter. You decide according to what you want to. But you must remember, a few years back you were telling, I want to realize God, I want to become monk. So what happened to all those ideas? Where did they go? That means in some corner of the mind, the desire was there and he was growing, and naturally it's an illusion, a kind of illusion. And then he was giving explanation, a kind of explanation. Explanation was, Swami, I want to marry her, but not because of lust. Not because of lust. Then why should you marry? Even without marrying, you can extend your love towards her. You can help financially, you can give education, you can do whatever she wants. Anything, everything you can do. Why should you have to marry for that? If that is not the case, he has no answer for that. Anyway, no, I'm not telling, I'm telling how in so many ways the world drags you. The objects of the pleasurable objects, they drag your senses. The senses drag the mind. When the mind is dragged, you are gone. Gone means you are not able to realize the truth, and naturally you will be some kind of stress and strain and this and that goes on. So the more you go towards west, the longer the way it will be to come back to east. So the more and more you go towards the world, the more and more it's difficult for you to come back. Going to God means to withdraw yourself from the world, which is not easy. It is not made easy because of your own actions, your own commitments, your own entanglements, your own involvements. Is it not? You get involved in one thing and then you can't get out of it. So we are all like Abhimanyus. We know how to enter, we don't know how to get out. That's the thing. Any more question? Oh yeah. The question of attachment doesn't come there. See, as I said, a person who has realized the truth, he feels the whole world belongs to him and he belongs to the whole world. That means his love is extended to the whole creation, just like the sunlight is spreading everywhere. Every nook and corner, the sunlight is spreading. Just like that. So, there is no more attachment. The question of attachment doesn't arise there. Once you know the truth, the question of attachment doesn't come. It is attachment that brings misery. You go to a shop, get a pet, bring it home, next day you begin attachment. You always move with the pet. Whenever you go walk, you take the pet also along with you for walk. All these things will happen. Suppose you had not brought the pet, you didn't have any such reactions in the mind at all. So, it depends upon your attitude, what attitude you are working, with what attitude you are serving the humanity. That's very important. That's all. So a saint has no attachment at all. No. Attachment is a weakness. Non-attachment is a spiritual force. Being non-attached, you can serve very well. Being attached, your emotions, because of the emotions, you get weakened. You are not able to discharge your duty properly. You get nervous. You lose control over yourself because of the attachment. You can't see what is happening. You will lose power of discrimination. Suppose you are deeply attached to your mother. Mother falls sick. It may be ordinary sick. She may be ordinary ill. But he feels terribly worried. Oh, what happens to my mother? She is not keeping well. Night and day he is restless, full of worries, all these things. That's because of the attachment. Suppose he is not attached. You take all the precaution. She is ill, all right, take him to the doctor, bring the good doctor, give the best treatment. Do whatever that is to be done. And you can do it also meticulously because you are not under stress and strain. And the result is, leave the result to God. By worrying, you cannot solve the problem. So why should you worry? But it comes from nowhere. So worrying is the offspring of attachment. Where there is attachment, there will be worry. In some form or other, it will be there. Any more questions? Yeah. What is Buddha's teaching? Tell me first, what do you know about Buddha's teaching? What did he say?
To me, love is God, love everything.
Mm-hmm.
Desire is bad, desire is the evil of everything.
Mm-hmm. That's all, same thing. Same thing is said everywhere. Different approach, that's all. Different approach. All are going towards God only. So Buddha, his message of compassion, love all the beings, and the doctrine of karma. If you do bad deeds, you get bad result. If you do good deeds, you will get good result. So, but Vedanta, it goes to the core, the ultimate reality. What's the ultimate reality? The ultimate reality is that the whole creation is full of God consciousness, and whatever this world you are seeing, it is constantly changing. Every moment it is changing. So matter constantly changes. So what is it that is not changing? That consciousness is not changing. So what is that? That you have to realize. Once you realize what is that, then your game in the world is over. Till then you have to keep on playing your game. Once you touch the granny, the game is over. You are no more to play in the game. Till then you have to keep on playing like that. Living in this world means playing in the world. That's all. Any more? We are all playing. We are all playing in this world, and as a result enjoying both pain and pleasure. The whole creation is nothing but the play. It's a game of God. We're all playing our part. But if you think about the God principle, if you think about the reality, then you will arrive at the real peace of mind. Otherwise you won't get into that real peace. Some sort of peace you will have, but it is not real peace. No, Sri Ram himself tells that even householders also can realize God. Who told that they are not realizing God? It's difficult. That's what that. In fact, Sri Ram tells householder life is easier in a way. It is like fighting from inside the fort. Householder life is like fighting the battle from the fort, inside the fort. But monk's life is like fighting in the open field. So, it's not that, that's why you have to be very careful. I am not telling this is superior, that is inferior, etc. No. Everything is a path. But every path is difficult. It has got its own difficulties. Though householder life is also one of the ways to reach God, but how many people do really find time to think of God? Tell me that first. They talk about, but in practice they are not able to do. They themselves say, "Oh Swamiji, I can't, morning I have to run. By the time I return from the office I am exhausted, I go and sleep." It's a fact. So how long you go like this? Till you become old, till you become retired? After retirement, what practice can you do? Nerves have become weak, blood is powerless, mind is reckless. With that condition, you want to do practice? Impossible. But there were rishis, they were not rishis like ordinary householders. They are very strict disciplinarians. Even though they were married, they were following discipline in the life. Even household life has got a discipline. But who is following the discipline? They are going in a very uncontrolled way. They are using drugs and things to control the family. Family control. They want to adopt the drug. No. Why should you have drug? By your mind control you can have it. Same control. It's healthier rather than drug control. So artificial control they want to do. So all these things are happening. But really, see, in an ideal householder life, in fact, according to Hindu tradition, everything is spiritual. Starting from the waking up, after ablutions, he worships in the home, offers worship, thinks about God, do some mental japa, Gayatri or something, then goes to work. and in work also is honest and sincere. He doesn't grab the money. He's controlling himself. All those things are there. One has to. And another point is Sri Ramakrishna tells that even though a person who is householder, he should practice mental renunciation. What is renunciation? That you must know. Renunciation means giving the whole mind to God. Mind is stuck up in somewhere. It is attached to some things. As long as the mind is attached to some certain things, that means your whole mind is not given to God. So you have to take that mind from that attachment, put it on God. That's the meaning of renunciation. So mentally mental renunciation you can have. Outwardly you may have all those things, but mentally your mind is totally given to God, not for the pleasures of the world anymore. As long as your mind is hankering after the pleasures, it will not allow you to think of God. And what to speak of God realization? It's not easy. They say, but it's not easy. It's just like the bee goes and sucks the honey. Definitely it can come out and come out of the flower and it can save its life, but it won't. It is sucking the honey so deeply, it got stuck up there and it dies there. Certain bees, they can't come out. That example is given. Like the cocoon, the silk, they do the cocoon, that also. It has made its own cocoon, it can come out of it. No, it dies there. Like that. So, though, that is why the idea of God and spiritual ideas, all these are given. And in fact, when they marry, they even tell us both husband and wife should live like Lord Vishnu and consort Lakshmi, like Shiva and Parvati. They tell their names, and they are the real parents. They are the parents. Like all those things are told in the mantra. But who follows that? So, but discipline is important, whether you are a monk or a householder. Even if you are a monk, if you don't practice discipline, you won't get realization. You won't get. You will get only when you are totally directing yourself to God. Then you will get. But we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is the prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.